Definitely. Let me answer.
So I think that you're in other words, the hardness was in you at birth. You were hard at birth.
Let me answer that question. Kings and killers are born; they're not made. Great kings are made. Okay, great because they step off their throne and they look at people's eyes. They don't look at the top of their heads. But killers are made. Now, you want to know the point, the validity of this question, of what I'm saying? I'll tell you what. 6 million Jews went into the gas chamber. 6 million. Apparently, some of them were hoodwinked, but none of them took the opportunity to kill the last Nazi before they walked into that gas chamber. Just grab a pistol and kill him, knowing you're going to die anyway.
Right.
You understand? I got in a gunfight in Hollywood. It's a pretty famous gunfight. Gunfight at Producer Studio, 1978. Well, I got shot. I got shot 6 times by this guy, a movie producer. We shot it out right in front. People thought we were making a movie. I was looking at the corner of my eye while I'm getting 9mm pumped into me. Okay, and the last bullet that came out of my gun, I ran and I started beating this guy over the head. I was hitting my jugular vein. I was dying. Okay, that's the difference. If I'm going to die, I'm going to take somebody with me. Now, what changed my life? I was in Corcoran. Okay, I had sepsis of the spine. Okay, I helped a guy escape out of Donovan prison, a guy named Dave Finney. I got the warden fired. I did it for that reason, to get the warden fired. Anyway, what happened is I was dying, okay, and I made a prayer. I said, Lord, this cop came in, and he started making me sit up. I had sepsis. I had such pain in my back. I had a few days to go. I said, if you ever did this to me on the yard, I'd kill you. But now I'm dying, so you're coming and you feed off me. He said, well, I said, but I'm getting out in a few days. He said, no, you're not. You're doing life. I said, no, I get out November 27th. He must have looked at the computer. I never seen him again. I was dying. Okay? I made a prayer that night. God, please don't let me die. I promise on my soul I will change my life. This is after 27 years of prison. Now I finally broke. Just a couple of days after I had finished 17 years for murder. Okay? I broke. Okay? But I only broke. I said I won't take any vengeance on nobody, and I won't do anything except...
Whoa. You said you broke? What do you mean you broke? You changed?
I broke, yes, I did. God broke me. God, Adonai, El. He's the one that broke me. He broke me.
It's an interesting use of a word, broke. Broke you. Why do you use the word broke you?
Because God comes to you. He sends people to you. If you don't listen to him, okay, he's going to find a way to break you. He's going to bring you to him. And be thankful he does. Because if he doesn't, then you're lost. You go into Gehenna. And I know that. And this is the culture that I come from. This is the Jewish culture. Okay? Listen.
Well, what do you do day to day in San Diego? I'm going to have to take a break, but I know that most people, I'm getting emails from people I haven't heard from for years saying, this is the most awesome phone call I've ever heard in talk radio. You got people on the edge of their seats, Michael, with your story, because we all know it's the truth. We know that you're not making it up. And there's something about the truth that is so remarkably attractive that people don't know how to stop listening to it. So please hold on the line. Maybe somebody can be saved from your conversation with me on this show, Michael. Stay on the line. I'll be right back.
Savage.
It's another amazing day on the Savage Nation. I started by talking about Scott Rothstein in Florida, sentenced to 50 years for a $1.2 billion investment scam. And then I started asking, where have all the Jewish giants gone? Where have all the giants in any religion gone? And we were taking callers on that. What happened to our civilization? There's no honor anymore. There's no nothing anymore. And a guy calls named Michael from San Diego. He identifies himself as Michael Hardy. A man who he says he's been convicted of murder, 28 years in prison. And he started to tell things about his life that smacked of reality. And we couldn't believe it. Most of us listening to the show are awed by this call. And we're going to go back to Michael Hardy right now on the Savage Nation. Michael, I know that you have many people listening right now. And you ended the last conversation by telling us that after 28 years, God broke you. Could you tell the people what you meant by that?
Well, listen, God has always been in my life, okay? But, and he's always been with me. I've been shot 11 times. I had a bomb.
Wait, when you say God has been with you, even when you were killing people, God was with you?
Well, he was with it. He was in my heart. Let me tell you, Michael, I was born into a war zone in Brownsville, okay? It started out with the Profaci Gallo War. Well, I started out with gang wars when I was a kid in Brooklyn on Dead Man's Hill on Crown Heights. Okay, that's where I started out. I went to a school where the principal jumped off the roof. We went to see Blackboard Jungle, and I thought it was a musical comedy. I went to
Good line.
So more happened in a half a day in my school than happened in that whole movie. So God has always been with me, okay? But it wasn't. But listen, He wants you to pay attention to Him, and if you don't, He's going to cause you to do it one way or the other. If He loves you, if He doesn't love you, listen. He didn't like Cain, okay? Cain didn't make out good.
Well, you said you were in a Mexican prison. Was it a U.S. prison in Mexico where you cut the guy's throat with the soda bottle?
No, it was a Mexican prison in Mexico.
You were in a Mexican prison in Mexico, and you survived killing a guy with a bottle?
Yes, I did. I definitely did, because I killed a guy who was a threat to the guy that ran the prison. So I wrote a book, La Mesa del Diablo, and this guy, as soon as I did that, they never seen a gringo do this. They thought, like, I don't know, I was some kind of white buffalo or something, or an enigma. And this guy says, listen, I want you to work for me. And he let me work for him. And I made
Michael, how big a man are you?
6'1", 280 pounds.
Oh, so you're a big guy.
Yeah, they call me Big Mike. That's what I was known as. But I want to tell you something, Michael. You know, Sammy was my partner for a long time. When Jerry Capizzi was calling him a rat and everything like that. Now, I got off the bus before I got to that stop, okay? Because
Mike, hold on, because I'm coming to a dead stop at the end of this hour. You said that you found God, you're no longer a criminal, and that God broke you. Amazing words. If you have the time and you care to reach a lot of people, would you tell the people after the hour what you mean by God broke you, what that means?
I give you my word in the name of God, I will do that.
All right, back in a minute on the Savage Nation.
Savage. Warning. The Michael Savage Show contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation. Here is Michael Savage.
It is the Savage Nation, and we are hitting all sorts of points inside your head today. Eddie, my love, I loved this song when I was growing up. Trying to study geometry while listening to this, forget about it. But I did it. I struggled. I didn't become a gangster. That's the difference, and that's what I was talking about before. How does a guy like Scott Rothstein, who was sentenced to 50 years today for being a Ponzi schemer in Florida, MiamiHerald.com, $1.2 billion investment scam. I couldn't stop reading this story for a million different reasons, and I'm still sorting out what's so fascinating about it. That this guy could bring down his family. He started out with a father who sold condoms and flavored toothpaste in an apartment building, goes to law school, rags to riches, and he ends up with a 50-year sentence for what he did. And I ask a question, how do people end up like this? Where are the Jewish giants? Where are the Italian giants? Where are the ethnic giants of any religion? That's where I started. And I get a call from a guy in the last hour who identifies himself as a Jewish gangster who was retired in San Diego in his mid-60s. He claims he was in prison, in and out of prison for 28 years. He claims he's convicted of murder many times. And that he says at the end of this his name is Michael Hardy. He's holding on the line. He's going to be back with us. He was mentioned in the book Underboss. Gravano. And he says that at the end of the day, God broke him and that he's a changed man. So I said, Michael, will you stay on the line and come back on the Savage Nation and tell us what you mean by God broke you? And true to his word, Michael is still holding from San Diego. Michael, thank you for being a man of your word.